What up, YouTube? So today is going to be part 3 of the K24 delsol TSX motor swap, and right now we're getting ready to install this bracket. So what you want to do is, this bracket aligns exactly with the bottom vibration mount from your stock car, and what you have to do is just basically line that up from the bottom, and then you're gonna have to drill 2 holes at the top to push the bolt through. One of these is actually broken at the bottom, so we're gonna actually reinforce it with a weld instead, so it'll be just as strong with the weld. And then we're gonna paint all this flat white, make it look all clean, get all this cleaned up a little bit even more, and then like I said, that's gonna be the start. We're gonna be dropping in the mid mount or the rear mount, and then we'll show you guys what we need to do the K24, what you need to do to prep it before you drop it in, just to make things easier, because when the motor's in, things tend to be a little bit harder since it's not as much as room. So right now Johnny's gonna go and fab this up and drill those bolts out, and then we'll come back and start disassembling the TSX motor that we got from Redline Motors. Alright, so we are back, and this is going to be the K24 engine for the delsol. So this is another TSX engine, JDM, which is K24A. So in this one right here, we're actually going to be using this intake manifold, but we will be swapping out the throttle body because this is drive-by wire. So we'll be converting that to cable. We'll be taking this bracket off right here and throwing the 04 CRV bracket on here. We'll be taking all this off, power steering, alternator, water pump housing, and putting the Civic SI. Just make sure when you use the Civic SI that you're gonna need a little block off, because it has a water port going to the oil cooler. Unless you run an oil cooler on here, we're not doing that on this though. We're gonna take off all the little sensor wiring harness from the old one. We'll be throwing the 05 to 06 harness. So if you guys never used this harness before and want to do a wiring up, this will be the swap to check out for 05 to 06 wiring, because there's only, I think, one company that makes it, the conversion harness, which I believe is Wireworks, but they usually take like 2 weeks, I guess, and they don't really have them ready. If you're really trying to get your swap going, I'll show you guys how to do that. Other than that, we will be taking the front piece of the manifold off so we can get to the starter, and like I said, just disconnect all this. I'll be using a stock flywheel, so we're going to be taking off that plate right there and just throwing just a stock XZ clutch. We'll be throwing, this is going to be the 6-speed tranny, and since we're going to be using 0506 harness, we don't have to worry about getting a speed converter. We'll be running a stock Type S ECU as well on this. So right now, just gonna go ahead and get it cleaned up and start taking off all the little hoses we don't need, and just getting it basically prepped so we can slap it together and drop it in hopefully by tomorrow, which will be Saturday. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning all this stuff out, and I'll go over the stuff I'm gonna go over and take off so you guys can kind of know. There's just a lot of 12mm bolts, so 12s. There's gonna be some 14s for the water pump housing. There's 14s for the side bracket right here. I believe these are gonna be 12s, and then 14s to take off the exhaust manifold. And then they're gonna be 17s for the flywheel plate, and those are 12-sided. Other than that, maybe a couple 10s to disconnect the wiring and everything. But yeah, I'll probably have more info for the MR2 video, since I'm gonna be doing that next, or I'm actually in the process right now of doing that. So you'll see more information on that video if you want to check that one out. I'll probably go bolt by bolt. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and start knocking this one out completely so we can get the transmission, flywheel, clutch all together and get this thing dropped in. All right, so we are back, and the motor is basically almost stripped down to how we need it. It's ready to get the CRV bracket put on. we're gonna put the SI water pump housing on here, and then we're probably gonna go ahead and start throwing on the engine harness with transmission. So we got a 6-speed transmission over here. We need to throw on the clutch and flywheel, so we'll be doing that. We're just gonna go stock clutch and flywheel right now, so we'll be installing that, putting the transmission on, and then next time you'll see this motor will be right next to the delsol, getting prepped to drop in. All right, so we are back with the K24 TSX JDM engine with 6-speed Type S transmission, all connected, flywheel, clutch, all torqued down as far as transmission bolts. So now, right now, what I'm gonna do next is install the engine harness, which is gonna be 05 to 06, which is not much different from 02 to 04 if you know what you're doing, but some wires are switched out and located in different spots on some things, especially the speed sensor. The speed sensor is in the front instead of the back, which would be right here from the older ones. Other than that, we're gonna drop our wiring harness on, and then we'll throw on our water pump housing, and we'll probably be throwing the rest of the manifold back on, so we can basically have it ready to drop in. Also, we'll go ahead and throw the CRV bracket on here, and I'll show you guys the part number, so you guys, if you needed to order that yourself, you can do it. So right now we're gonna go ahead and start putting the harness on, and then also have to clean this up a little bit so we can seal up the new water pump housing, and then go from there to see what we're gonna do next. All right, guys, so we are back. We got the engine harness, which is 0506. For some people who are going to be running like stock ECU, or if you're not running Type R ECU, you're going to have to put the pressure sensor for the VTEC. So you're gonna, this is the JDM motor, they don't come with pressure sensors out there. You also need to swap out this crank sensor to a K20. Any RSX or EP3 SI will work. Come over here real fast. This, in order for you to extend and get this sensor right here, it's better to just take this whole plastic off and rewrap it. Other than that, we're gonna actually install the motor just how it is right now, and then we'll go ahead and install the water pump housing. This is the bolt you need to extract that comes out of right here. This is the CRV bracket. I'll show you guys the parts number. So this is a 04 CRV. I think 0 to 08 might be the same, but 04 for sure. So we got that bracket on there. That's gonna be for any K series with K24 for RSX, EP3, Civic Si, FA5, FG2, all gonna require this bracket. MR2s as well, but not the SW20s, just the spiders. So next thing we're gonna do is get the water pump housing on, an alternator, but we're most likely gonna put this into the car first. So right now we're gonna go ahead and start jacking this thing up, put it on the engine stand, or I mean the crane, get it in there. As you can see, I do a little spraying. We're gonna do a little bit more because I thought we were gonna be able to get that out with cleaning, but it is what it is. So we'll clean it up a little bit, and then we'll be dropping the engine, and then we'll come back and show you guys how it looks. All right, so we are back now with the K24 dropped in. As you can see, I'm using the EM USA mounts, which actually weren't too bad. I installed them into the EK. They were a little bit more harder, but these ones actually came out really simple. Didn't have to apply much pressure on stretching out the brackets or anything. So get back here, check it out. Manual rack and pinion. Also went ahead and took this bolt out, or stud, so when we put the new water pump housing, we won't have to worry about that as well. Other than that, that's basically going to be it for this video. We still got a lot more work to do. Next video we might be doing some wiring, probably installing half shaft. We're going to do the water pump housing as well, and then also we'll be getting to the throttle body. We're going to have to get an adapter and an RSX or EP3 throttle body, and we're going to be taking these off as well. So stay tuned, guys. Got a lot more work to do on this one, but the next video we're definitely going to be doing the MR2, showing you guys dropping that motor in there and then kind of getting some work done. Hopefully we can have that car and this car running very soon. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. If you haven't, like, share, subscribe, comment, let me know what you guys think. If you want to hit me up on Instagram, it's KSeriousWorks, or you can hit me up on my email at honda.mike1988@gmail.com. Alright, so see you guys next time.